All right, race fans, welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, Dakota. And, man, Atlanta tonight, what better way to start off a Monday night after Labor Day than Atlanta with RSR?
Yeah, I'm excited. Atlanta, it's fast, it's crazy, a lot of good racing here, and with these guys, you never know what to expect, Keaton.
Yeah, you really don't. And, with the chase closing in, Dakota, let's go to last week's results here at Bristol Motor Speedway under the lights. Wow, what an exciting finish that was. Chris Schallenberger picking up the victory there. 200 laps counted at Bristol. Started ninth spot. Chris Schallenberger taking the win home with him that night. Nathan Little finishing in a really good second spot.
Ronnie Potts, who started in the 6th position, is able to bring it home third, and he's only a second out of those leaders. And Jay Horton, who started 14th, is going to bring it home 4th.
Yeah, and 5th belonged to Scott Brotherton. And let me tell you about Scott. He came all the way back from 26th spot, Dakota, to get into that top 5 spot. So hats off to him. And David Lanza, who's sitting real close to edging out of the top 12 in points. He started 11th and finished 6th at Bristol.
And Steve Renner, who started 19th, finished 14 seconds out, but he will finish in the 7th position, and in 8th position, 15 seconds out of the lead, starting 12th, Glenn Campbell.
Chad Cole finishing 9th, 1 lap down, starting all the way back from 25th. Really didn't have the car that he wanted at Bristol, but I think he's got one he wants tonight at Atlanta. And Bruce Perry racking in a top 10 for him, starting 16th spot at Bristol. And here we are, Atlanta. Now let's go over the points, Dakota.
Yeah, and Lennon Huffman, who actually got crashed out, finished 22nd, 92 laps down, but still holds the points lead over Chad Cole. He's, and this is interesting, going into the chase, they reset the points by the amount of wins. And as you're about to see, he has 895 points. He's a 33-point lead over Chad Cole, but that won't matter because he only has 4 wins. And Chad Cole, who is sitting second with 862 points, only 33 points back, has 4 wins.
Also, Guy Snyder sitting right there in third, same boat with them. 4 wins, 54 points back. So the top 3 here, Dakota, could start the chase off tied for the lead. 4th, John Abbott.
And Chad Schilling, who's sitting in the 5th position, 173 points out with 0 wins, and Doug Roth also with 0 wins, 178 points out. That's 5 points between 5th and 6th right now.
Joseph Hayes trying to rebound from a couple of races to go, getting involved with a big accident. He sits 7th in points. He's also looking for that first win of the season. Also looking for their first win of the season, Adam Roberts' team. He sits 8th in the points.
And as of right now, if the chase were to start right now, the guy who would be sitting 4th is actually sitting 8th right now with 3 wins. R.J. Williams, he's got 653 points back, 653 points, but he's only 242 back from the lead. And Eric Arnold sitting in the 10th position with only 1 win and 258 points out of the lead.
Yeah, Eric Arnold's famous win, finishing under caution, if you remember Dakota correctly. Eric Arnold, though, the Navy Nuke getting it done that one night, man, great win for that kid there. Really deserved it in the Navy. Always proud of our servicemen. And also, just to go ahead and let you know about the 11th and 12th guys, that's Jay Horton sitting 11th. He also has 1 win. And David Lanza, who I mentioned earlier, is sitting in 12th right now, also has 1 win. So those guys on the bubble, Dakota.
Yeah, and what I've been informed was I wasn't sure whether they were doing this or not, but I talked to one of the admins, and they've kind of informed me, yes, they're trying to do this. So just like the NASCAR points, if you're in the top 20 and you have the most wins, you're going to get those 2 wild card spots. So right now it shows John Gregorio with 2 wins, but one of those was a non-points race. So as it stands right now, it's looking like your 11th and 12th are going to stay right where they are. Just by how many points back Joey Gattina is in 13th position.
Like I mentioned, race 25 here at Atlanta. Race 26, we go to Richmond next week. 160 laps at Richmond. But let's talk Atlanta. And I'm going to bring up Josh into the booth with us. Josh, congratulations on being a part of us tonight. Welcome to the booth. And, man, Atlanta Motor Speedway, 130 laps here. Let's talk some fuel strategy. What's these crew chiefs and what are these guys looking at for fuel?
Well, most of the people I talked to said they're looking at about 50 to 57 laps on fuel at the moment.
Yeah, which brings up an interesting thing there. If they can stretch it to 60, let's just say they can stretch it to 60, then, you know, if they go 60 laps green, they pit, they're still going to have to pit again because that would just be 120, and there's 130 laps. So I like how RSR throws this little loophole in here to the mix, where if these races do stay green, they have to pit a couple of times, which makes it fun. Now, tire strategy. What's the deal with that? Is everybody going to be coming in looking for 4 tires, 2 tires? What's the scenarios looking for the tire situation, Josh?
Well, most of them are starting out loose and they're going to tighten up during the run. That's what they've been telling me, and they're always going to take 4 tires. They said the only reason they might take 2 is a shootout. But very few drivers have said that they're going to take 2. It's mostly going to be 4 tire stops.
Well, there you go, Dakota. 4 tire stops, about 57 laps on fuel. If they can stretch it 60, still not going to be enough, Dakota, to get this 130 lap in the books with just 1 pit stop.
Yeah, and some of the interesting things you can, I mean, just people coming down 60, taking fuel only, coming back down maybe 11 laps later, getting the tank of fuel, and then getting the tires in. That could be something we see. I mean, strategy will be very important tonight, I do believe.
And number 1 on the pole right now before we go to the anthem, R.J. Williams in the number 21 machine, 28.719, and when we return, RSR.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Alright, race fans, welcome back. Atlanta Motor Speedway, starting grid, as I mentioned, on the pole in the number 21 machine, R.J. Williams. Outside of him, Dakota, nonetheless, Lennon Huffman.
Yes, and starting in the 3rd edition, Dwayne Vincent, we've seen quite a bit of him recently. He is looking strong tonight, and I wonder if he might actually be able to pull off the win tonight. Starting outside him, I haven't actually seen much of this guy before, Joe Beasley.
Starting in 5th position in the number 51 Chevrolet, John Gregorio. Outside him in that number 17 DeWalt Chevrolet, Chad Cole.
Starting in the 7th position, John Abbott, and on the outside of him, Jay Horton at number 83 machine.
Starting in 9th position tonight, Kel Dresbach. Outside him, Ronnie Potts.
Starting on the inside, in 11th position, Steve Gottschalk, and starting on the outside of him, the 84 of Jimmy North.
The number 27 machine rolling off 13th tonight, Guy Snyder. Outside guy tonight, John Hanna Jr. in that number 4.
A guy that's always fast, starting in 15th position, and number 33, David Lanza on the outside of him, the 06 of Fish Berry.
And Eric Arnold, who we mentioned earlier, getting the first win late in the season. Can he do it tonight at Atlanta? In the number 47, Eric Arnold starting 17th again. Steve Ritter, 16th car, starting 18th.
Now I talked to RSR a little bit earlier, and he's kind of excited about tonight. Somebody we might actually hear from later in the race. He's starting in the 19th position in the number 19, and on the outside of him, Doug Roth in the number 43.
Doug Roth, as we got to mention every week, Dakota, running that old Richard Petty paint scheme. Got to love it. But in the number 21 spot, Chad Schilling, starting 22nd in the double 8 car, Adam Roberts. That's the 88 machine.
And a guy that finished in the top 10 last week, Glenn Campbell. Kind of surprised. I haven't seen much of this guy either, and he's starting to prove competitive. And Keith Brooks Jr. starting on the outside of him.
Michael Gray, the famous loop-de-loopy at the road course at Watkins Glen. He spun it around in that dog leg about 6 or 7 times. Exciting guy to watch, though, starting 25th. Rolling off 27th tonight, Dakota, J. Randall Watkins.
Oh boy, didn't he spin a few times. Nathan Little starting 27th in the 97 machine, and in 20th position, Jonathan Cadell.
Rolling off 29th, Wyatt Wolf Jr., outside him, Nathan Bowers.
Starting in 31st, the 69 of Joseph Hayes, on the outside of him, Greg Netherwood.
And the last 3 spots here, Dakota, 56 machine, Patrick Hahe, outside him, the 61 machine, Wyatt Wolf, and rolling off in the 35 position, Stephen Herring. As the pace car at Atlanta Motor Speedway dips down low, green flag, Dakota.
Yes, and here it goes as R.J. Williams starting to get a really good jump. He gets clear the field, and looks like he's going to be able to pull away real easily here, and that's a good start for him here.
And Atlanta's Motor Speedway, real fast racetrack, 130 laps here. You kind of got to get these positions that you can early on. They're so important, Dakota.
Something I'll be watching out for is, as we saw in the Nationwide car here, there was a big arrow thing, and that's something that could play a role in this race big time, Keaton.
Getting ready to complete lap 1 here at the famous half-mile or mile-and-a-half speedway. As your race leader, R.J. Williams gets out to a little bit of a comfortable lead. Coming out of 2, he's got Landon Huffman, though, behind him, looking on the inside.
That's not the only one coming. Ed Cole started 6th up to 4th, just 1 lap. Man, this guy is coming in a hurry as well.
Yeah, Chad Cole's got that Ford DeWalt machine hooked up, and hooked up quick, as Landon Huffman goes underneath the 21 machine in 1 here, Dakota, and we're going to see a battle for the lead.
Looking way back here, 47 of Eric Arnold and Jimmy North in the 84. A bunch of side-by-side racing back here is, just about 15th position. A lot of cars side-by-side racing really hard back in the back here. As I see R.C. Rigdon also sneak in the picture.
That's the battle for 13th and 12th position, and Guy Snyder falling back just a little bit. Got it to the apron there. He's running in the 10th position, and now he's going to have his hand with Steve Ritter.
Up front is where you can tell if the arrow is going to play a big role or not, as Landon Huffman pulls away, but these cars were lined up nose to tail pretty good, and you're going to see here is if that's going to play an effect or how much of an effect it's going to play.
Yeah, these guys, these cars here at Atlanta, they'll train each other, and you're talking about one wrong move and the day could be over for you, and you don't want to be that guy who calls that accordion effect.
Yeah, without a doubt. Green so far 5 laps into Atlanta Motor Speedway, so this is looking to be a pretty good race so far, Keaton.
Looking back here in the 20th spot, Glenn Campbell making the move on Doug Roth into the number 19 position. Glenn Campbell, as you mentioned, finishing top 10 at Bristol. He's looking his way up into the top 10 here at Atlanta. He's got a really fast car. That Penske Chevrolet yellow and blue car sure does look sharp here at Atlanta.
Without a doubt it does, and doesn't it always, Keaton?
Looking just a little bit further back, actually in the 21 position, John Hanna Jr., he's trying to make his way underneath that 43 STP car, and in turn 3, he's got the pass. And just ahead of him, Dakota, just a whole gaggle of cars here, starting off in that number 13 spot with Steve Gottschalk. And there's a whole gaggle of cars behind him.
Change for position, 5th position. Joe Beasley just went around John Gregorio in a 51 pretty easily there through one of the corners. Joe Beasley marked him up a spot, and he's still coming to the front.
And moved Dwayne Vincent to the number 2 spot over the 21 of R.J. Williams. So R.J. Williams going a little bit backwards here. He started on the pole tonight, but he's sitting 3rd right now as Landon Huffman, your race leader, SimSeed Chevrolet, is getting it done right now. And I want to throw it down to Josh in the pits here. Josh, lap 8 of 130. As you mentioned, pit stops. We're going to be seeing scheduled green flag pit stops between 55 to 57 laps, and if they can stretch it to 60. Let's talk draft here at Atlanta. How important is the draft here at Atlanta?
Draft is pretty important. It'll help you save some fuel on the long runs, and it might, but it can also make you burn your right front tire up, which is the problem and the worry that all the crew chiefs are having at the moment.
Yeah, it really can, and you know, tires here at Atlanta are so important, as we see the walk machine of Chad Cole taking over that number 3rd spot away from R.J. Williams. Dakota, any kind of word on R.J. Williams? That car has went from 1st to 4th, although that's not too bad. Just like we were mentioning, though, the draft really can move you up some spots.
Well, I kind of noticed he moves up a little bit in the corner sometimes, and that's where he loses his time. But it could be one of those things where they practice all day in the clean air, trying to get their car perfect, and they get in the draft like he didn't expect to. And I mean, it's just throwing his car off. It's one of those things. The aero is a big part here.
Yeah, you got to have these cars aerodynamically set up just perfect. As we have I thought Dwayne Vincent was going to make a move on your number 1 spot, Landon Huffman, but he didn't. He falls back in line. He thinks better of it. Save those tires a little bit. Completed lap 11 that last time by Landon Huffman, your race leader with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cop Series, brought to you by Bob Earl Racing.
I'll tell you what, like I said earlier, Dwayne Vincent, we've been seeing a lot of him. He is fast, and he's only proving it tonight, starting in, where did he start? I believe he started 3rd, but yeah, and he's up to 2nd. I think he's got something for Landon Huffman. I think he's just riding around saving his stuff. I don't think anybody up there real fighting real hard, and that's probably why R.J. Williams is going back so easily. I don't think he's really trying to keep those spots right now.
Looking at the battle for 5th and 6th position, that's Joe Beasley and John Gregorio. John Gregorio is sporting a new paint scheme this week in that number 51 machine. Smitten Chassis Works written all over the back of that car as he races that red rocket down the front stretch behind the 60 of Joe Beasley at 205 miles an hour.
I've seen a lot of single file action all the way through the field here, even going back all the way up to 19th position. I have not seen a whole lot of double file action, which is something usual. I mean, the tires, once they fall off for the first like 5 to 8 laps, they're going to start getting slick and sliding around. You don't want to try to do a whole lot of passing because you're afraid you're either going to run over the wall or the person you're trying to pass.
Yeah, that, Dakota, too, it just shows who saved that right front tire or who's got the best setup. You'll see them run single file because everybody can pretty much keep up the first 20 laps, but after that, that's when those tires start to wear off. Who pushes that right front more to the ground than someone else? And we should start seeing some passes here later on because of that.
Some passes I've not been seeing here is up front. These top 4, it's kind of like they're trying to stay off each other, be nice, and try to pull away from the field. It looks like Chad Cole would kind of close out a little bit, back off, and Landon or R.J. Williams would also do the same. I mean, it's kind of like they're just kind of check for each other, just trying to give room and pull away from the rest of the field here.
And that's going to be something that's not so easy to do at Atlanta, as the draft here with these cars are really good. But as you mentioned, the first 4 are kind of breaking away from Joe Beasley, who's running in that 5th spot, but him and John Gregorio were taking a little side-by-side action earlier on that kind of slowed them down.
Yeah, and you got to remember here, between Landon Huffman and Chad Cole, they are 2 guys that have to battle each other for the win. I don't think Chad's going to let Dwayne get in the way, but remember, the points gets reset on the amount of wins. So, I mean, if Landon wins tonight, then Chad's got to win next week, and that's a lot of pressure on Chad. So I guarantee you Chad's going to do everything that he can in his power to make sure that Landon Huffman does not win tonight, and he does.
35 drivers signed up to race Atlanta Motor Speedway's fastest mile-and-a-half track around in the series, and only 33 making the start, Dakota, and going all the way back to the 33rd position, looking at Adam Roberts, who's taking that Miller Blue Chevrolet into the wall a little bit. You got a little left rear damage on that machine, but no caution out on the speedway, just a little bit of wall contact with that car, so he's struggling there in the back.
Well, that's unfortunate, but what I've noticed about that team so far this week is they're really struggling. I mean, he started 22nd, only about 26 or 27 guys actually put down qualifying time, so he really started in the back. I think they've been struggling all weekend, so he's just trying to hang on to that thing for dear life right now, and I mean, banging off the wall, maybe he's trying to help it as much as he can at this point.
He's about 16 and a half seconds, we'll call it, from the race leader, and it takes about 29 seconds to get around, 28 seconds to get around this mile-and-a-half track here, Dakota, and the leader's still out front running those 29.5 lap times, so you know, keeping up with the Joneses, if you will, here. But Landon Huffman out front here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. When we return, let's see if he can hang on to that lead as we break away for our first commercial break with the Real Sim Throttle Cup Series.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
All right, race fans, welcome back, and we're getting word that the 43 machine of Doug Roth behind the garage here, Josh.
Yeah, Doug Roth's crew chief told me that he blew his engine. They were running a little bit too much tape, and in the draft he just couldn't get any air, and it just went up, and that's the end of the day for them.
Yeah, Dakota, too bad. Doug Roth all the way back to 33rd position now. Happened under the brake, under commercial. No caution, though, just kind of blew the motor, took it down pit road, put it behind the garage, and, man, early start home for him tonight, huh?
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's something you got to do. You got to do everything you can to be fast, and I guarantee you that we're dependent more on being up front or going through the traffic a lot quicker than what they did.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea about Doug Roth here, Doug Roth is sitting 6th in the points here, guys. He's 178 behind Landon Huffman, and Joseph Hayes, Adam Roberts, R.J. Williams knocking all over the back door of that 43 machine. So I'm telling you, Doug Roth's in trouble.
You know, and him sitting 6th position, you got to think that, I mean, he's got really good equipment, so his crew chief might have said that was tape, but I guarantee that's what they're hoping, because if something's going wrong in that car, I guarantee he's got some teammates on the track, and they're really not wanting something like that to be happening this late to the season.
What an excellent point that you brought up there, Dakota. If another teammate of Doug Roth's is running that same setup, then could we look for the same thing to happen? So excellent point that you bring up there, and we'll keep an eye on that. But still, under green here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, 27 laps into the books here, as your race leader, Landon Huffman, pulling away from Dwayne Vincent by half a second.
Yeah, and he's still running lap times that, I mean, you couldn't even hot lap Keaton.
Yeah, I can't even break the 29 mark, so I know these guys at Real Sim Racing, they got some good teammates that work with them, that work all week long for this series. You know, Dakota, these guys are not just racing for respect here, or just to have a fun little season. These guys racing for a cockpit designed by Bob Earl Racing, so a lot's at stake here.
And Bob Earl, remember, a championship race car driver, so he knows a little bit about comfort and making those chassis and whatnot, so I would not mind having one of those, and I'm sure that that's what's on the mind of Landon Huffman right now, as he is setting sail.
Speaking of setting sail, taking right sides right now down pit road is the number 71 machine of Keith Brooks Jr. I believe that's going to be an unscheduled pit stop. And actually, he took the tires and wheeled it behind the garage. So I think Keith Brooks Jr. is calling his day done as he sits in his 32nd spot.
I kind of wonder if that was one of Doug Ross' teammates.
You know what, Dakota? He's back out on the track. He might have had to come down. The motor might have been running hot and had to change that grill tape on there. Man, I tell you, it's going to be interesting to find out if that's the same problem that Doug Roth had.
Yeah, it's better to check it out now rather than and keep the car in a race, go a lap down, rather than blow it up and be out and be several laps down. That's for sure.
Meanwhile, we had a pass. R.J. Williams from the number 4 position back up to the number 3 position, taking it back from Chad Cole and that DeWalt Ford out there on the track, that black and yellow looking car there. Chad Cole, you can follow him on Facebook. I believe Dakota's got that information on that.
Chad Cole Fan Club for Life, like us on Facebook, and we'll start updating possibly throughout the race. I have a little bit to do with that, so a lot of fun there. We kind of screw around and have a little bit of fun with that. But Chad Cole sitting second in the points right now, and really trying to give Landon Huffman a run for his money. But R.J. Williams, as you said, moving up a position there, and I think he was just saving his stuff because he's moving in on second position really fast there. I think he's maybe saved his tires and just kind of barely hung with those guys, so now that he can just run by him maybe.
Yeah, Chad Cole sitting in a real comfortable spot in the points here. He's secured into the chase. He's just looking for that 5th win right now. Again, shared with 3 other drivers. 4 wins in this series belonging to Landon Huffman, who's out front. Chad Cole, who's running 3rd, or 4th, excuse me, and Guy Snyder. And let's get an update on Guy Snyder, Dakota.
Well, Guy Snyder, looking back here, let me see if I can't find him on the track really fast. Guy Snyder sitting in the 10th position, just kind of riding. I mean, it doesn't look like he's sitting behind the 10 car right now, and the 10 car of John Abbott, it just looks like he's riding right there and not really gaining any positions. Looking at the lap times right now, he's running just about the same lap times as the leaders and all of them. So I think right now what's happened pretty much is everybody's kind of settled down to equal lap times, and the tires have kind of evened out. So everybody's kind of even right now. That's probably why we're not seeing a whole lot of passing, besides R.J. Williams saving his stuff and moving up position at a time, looks like.
Now, Guy Snyder started tonight's race from the number 13 spot, so move him up 3 spots to the 10th position inside that top 10 where Guy Snyder's always used to be in. And just in front of him, John Abbott in that number 10 machine. He's looking for a good finish, man. I tell you what, Bristol, tough break for him last week. I tell you, just like me and JD had talked about, John Abbott trying to buy some luck. And he's looking real sharp here at Atlanta as he's working the Bone Collector Chevrolet of Ronnie Potts, who's sitting in 8th.
As that happens, we have changed for second place. R.J. Williams going around Wayne Vincent in a hurry, just in turn number 3. Dwayne Vincent going to run right back up on his bumper, run low in the tri-oval, maybe not, as Dwayne Vincent just falling in line. Going to see if he does anything going in turn number 1. As he does not, he backs also R.J. Williams up a spot and moving to the front.
Yeah, I think you called it right. R.J. Williams saving a little bit of that right front tire. And, man, I tell you, you got to make sure that that thing is well taken care of. That right front tire is just as about as precious as a youngster. Man, I tell you, you got to really take care of that right front tire. There's nowhere else to put it. No way else to put it.
Yeah, Landon Huffman, I mean, that time 200s faster than RJ Williams. So, I mean, he even took the lead and has just run away with it. He's pulled away from those guys, and he's still setting faster lap times. It's not like he's ran off the tires or nothing. So, I mean, this guy is the guy to beat tonight. He's got the best stuff out there, is what it's looking like.
All right, all you Keith Brooks Jr. race fans out there, he's just 2 laps down. Lucky dog full in effect in this series. So all he needs is a couple of cautions. But, hey, I don't want to say that yellow word too loud, as we're green flag here, no cautions with RSR. And in Atlanta, that's really surprising, because this is a really fast track. One wrong move can send you around. And so far, everybody keeping it clean. And telling you what, coming up next is going to be some green, hopefully some green flag pit stops here, as we see Eric Arnold pitting and coming out real slow on the racetrack. Dakota, Eric Arnold pitting.
Yep, and I mean, coming down a little bit early, maybe, but I mean, that could help you. I mean, maybe he, as we said, you can only go about, what, 55 to 60 laps, and so, I mean, coming down a little bit earlier, you know you've got to come in again. So right now he's just stretching it to a point, like, right now he'd have to pit just about lap 96. I mean, he's going to come in, have those fresh tires about 30 laps earlier than everybody, and be able to make up just a little bit of time. By the time that they've actually caught up to him and made up the time that he's made up on them, he's going to be back down pit road and getting those fresh tires again. So I think right now he's in a smart situation with this pit strategy.
Also, Ronnie Potts pitted just a couple of laps ago. We just mentioned him. He was running in the top 10. And as far as I know, nothing went south with that car, other than he just pitted kind of early and in an at least expectant time period here. So, Josh, a lot of guys pitting here early. Are we getting word that these guys can't conserve quite the 50, or some guys just trying to shortcut it?
Some of them are trying to shortcut it, but most of them are worried about a right front issue because they're pushing so hard up front.
Yeah, and with iRacing, I tell you, that right front can blow, Dakota. And if it does, you're going straight into the wall and pretty much your day's done. So a lot of people not wanting to take the risk here.
Well, I don't know about taking the risk, but I'm pretty comfortable with what those guys are doing. I think that's a winning strategy, as to where, I mean, if you stay out, you're good. But, I mean, right now they're going to make up just a little bit of time. I feel that, I mean, they might actually just make up the time on pit road, and with those fresh tires that everybody else won't be able to make up. I mean, this is just a really smart strategy all the way around, I do believe.
We've seen stranger things. Remember, a couple of races ago, weeks ago, we saw Eric Arnold stay out, no tires, at Michigan, and take the victory. So, there's all kinds of strategies here with this game.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Eric Arnold has this strategy game worked out. He knows what he's doing with it. As you saw him with Michigan through it, he knows what he's doing, and watch him, he's going to run out and get it again. I'm just thinking he's got the car to beat, one of the cars to beat, strategy-wise. He's got this thing planned out. I think he's going to be there at the end.
Take us to the 23rd position, looking at Joseph Hayes in that 69 machine. I tell you, you know, I like old Joseph Hayes, that driver there in that Chevrolet LL Lab Productions car, or J Lab Productions machine. You can hear him conserving fuel. That's what I wanted to bring up. You hear that engine cut off there, Dakota, him clutching it? Conserving fuel coming out of that Joseph Hayes machine. But I want to take you back to Michigan with Joseph Hayes. Also staying out with Eric Arnold, but Joseph Hayes getting the raw end of the deal, spinning out, causing a caution. Eric Arnold eventually going on to win the race under caution. But Joseph Hayes, got any kind of idea, Dakota, what he's doing?
That can be the strategy you were talking about, trying to make it to lap 60 and stretch out the field as far as he can possibly. I mean, there's several things he could be doing, and I mean, maybe the pit strategies can be a little bit shorter than what everybody thought it was, so they're trying to extend it even more.
Taken back up to the number 6 spot, Steve Ritter making the move on John Gregorio in that red Chevrolet there. Smith chassis working, Pala. 16 of Steve Ritter, though, taking that position over. Steve's got a rocket, I tell you. He's trying to get into this points chase battle. He came in late into the season, not quite the amount of starts that he wanted, Dakota, but nonetheless, Steve Ritter's been hammering it. And here at Atlanta, he's got a hot rod.
Yes, that's for sure. That's what I was just about to talk about. Is John Gregorio pulling out to go to pit road? So I think 4 tires of fuel will probably be the call for that. But we'll check with Josh. Josh, what's the call for John Gregorio, number 51 machine?
Yeah, he's going to take 4 tires and some gas, and it's going to be back out. No adjustments. He's running pretty good. The same with the 19. He's just not leaving his stall too. 4 tires and gas from pit road.
Yeah, that 19 that you see there, Dakota, running in the 25th position, I believe it is. That's that neon green Chevrolet of RC Rigdon that you mentioned. RC Rigdon's usually fast, although starting tonight in the 19th position, as you mentioned. Not quite the qualifying lap he was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty excited about this race tonight. I talked to him earlier, and he thought he had something for those guys, and I guess things changed, or the other cars changed, because those other cars got quite a bit more speed than what he does, and I'm wondering if they don't have something broken on the car or something not right in the car, because I mean, he expected to be much quicker than what he is tonight.
In the number 20 position, 91 of Steve Gottschalk down pit road, taking those right side tires, and Josh, he overshot his pit stop, and man, that's a costly mistake. Did you see that, the 91 machine?
Yeah, it sounds like it was too fast in pit road, and it also caused him to miss it, so he's going to be serving that penalty for a little bit.
Oh man, tough break there for 91 there, Dakota. I tell you, these guys, some of these guys, they come into the race, and you want all but everything to go right for them, and just a costly mistake there for that crew, and that machine there for Gottschalk.
Yeah, that's something you can't depend on. Getting on pit road is one of the trickiest things, especially at a track like this. And with the brake bias and the brakes the way they are, I mean, you get to the brakes a little bit, and you're going to feel it get loose. And I mean, you got to keep this, you got to keep the wheel, you know, in the car straight instead of spinning out. That's for sure.
Josh, 33 machine, David Lanza. I see the right side's going up in that car.
Yeah, he's going to take 4 tires and a splash of gas, a little adjustment on the wedge on the right side, and he's going to be back out. He's just a little loose in, a little loose out.
Yeah, David Lanza starting from the 15th spot tonight, running in that 20th spot. Looks like he's being held for some extra time there.
I'm looking at the fuel game right now. Looking at how early these guys have been, they may only be able to make it about 50 to 55 laps the way they seem to be pitting right now. And I'm kind of wondering back about Eric Arnold's pit strategy. That could put him, I mean, right on the edge of being able to make it right now.
I'm going to try to get, see if we can get a car coming down pit road just to show these fans how hard it is. Lanza spinning in 33 machine. I'm hearing word. I think he's got that car straight back out now, though. But you know, pitting here at Atlanta, Dakota, you named it. You hit the nail on the head there. That it's hard to get down from that apex.
Yeah, and I mean, the cars are really hard to slow down and, you know, not miss pit road. I mean, you get on the brakes, you're going to get the car sideways. You don't want to spin it out getting on pit road. You also don't want to speed. I mean, it's really hard, especially because everybody else has got to be trying as hard as they can to make up time. So, I mean, you can't back it up. You can't be safe getting on pit road. You're going to lose too much time.
The 84 Chevrolet Lowe's Never Stop Improvement 84's coming down pit road as we have a battle for the lead, Dakota.
I told you he was coming. I told you he was coming twice. I mean, he saved his stuff, and he's kind of showing it now because Landon Huffman ran away with it. I think he burned up his stuff because R.J. Williams is right there. But remember, those are teammates, so R.J. might just sit tight. You never know.
Both Chevrolets running 29.8s, but R.J. Williams has the sniff of a draft. I wonder if he's like Dale Earnhardt. Can he actually see it? You know, I remember a couple of years ago, 10, 15 years ago now, as 75 of Landon Huffman comes down pit road, but, you know, Dale Earnhardt Sr. in an interview said that he could see the draft. And I tell you, man, what a competitor he was. I miss the guy, and I wonder if R.J. Williams can see the draft.
Oh, wouldn't that be something? But as we have a spinner on the track, where would that be at?
Jonathan Cadell in the Navy machine is spun out, and he took the early access gate on the backstretch, wheeled it behind the wall on the backstretch, and his day is done.
Ooh, Nathan Bauer is just coming down pit road. I mean, he flew into pit road. He was going really fast. Then he spun it, getting on the brakes too hard. As Chad Cole also coming down pit road. Adam Roberts, several guys coming down pit road. Josh, who all you got?
I'm looking at the leader, R.J. Williams, right now, getting into his pit stall. Last box on the go here. 21, right side's up. He's running in third position. Right side's up on that machine. Crew goes around to the left side. Jack down, up, and away is the 21 machine of R.J. Williams. Good stop for him. No speeding penalty.
Dwayne Vincent right there with him. Actually looking like he made up time on pit road because he's right there with RJ now. So maybe Dwayne Vincent making up time on pit road might be able to make that up, help him make that up on the track, because RJ Williams was a little bit slower on the start. You gotta remember, as close as they are now, if Dwayne Vincent can get around and run away maybe a little bit. Ooh, as Dwayne Vincent gets loose and gets the wall really hard there, Michael Eaton.
Yeah, I saw that as part of the Real Sim Racing rule here. You can't enter to the backstretch. I tell you, the 3 of J. Randall Watkins probably counting his blessings that he missed that incident with Dwayne Vincent.
Well, without a doubt, Dwayne being showed in the 11th position right now, losing the spot to even Chad Cole, and I mean that damage could have hurt him. Aerodynamics is one thing that's very important to this track.
Right now on the track, your race leader, the number 10 machine, John Abbott. John has not pitted just yet, but he has taken that number 10 machine into the lead, and he's been running a solid top 10, so it'll be interesting to see. I think he's coming out of pit road right now.
Yes, Joseph Hayes assuming the lead with London Huffman 3 seconds back, and these are bonus points for everybody, so you gotta remember they're just going for those bonus points right now, maybe.
Yeah, Landon Huffman actually on the move to pass that number 10 machine of John Abbott for the lead here. So Landon Huffman running in that number 2 spot as cautions out at Atlanta, Dakota.
Yes, sir. Looking for the wreck as we have here's the 4 car of who would the 4 car be? It would be of John Hanna Jr.
Yeah, John Hanna Jr. in that Newegg sponsored machine, taking it for a little wild ride. No contact by any other driver.
They're looking at him coming off of pit road. He's on the apron coming out of turn number 2, and just looks like he maybe gets a little loose on the apron, possibly. Just kind of clips he just gets loose on the apron, trying to accelerate, gets the wall, turns the car around on the backstretch, and all you see is his car kind of sitting on the track, trying to wait on everybody to go so we can get the car turned around. But bad luck for that 4 car.
Yeah, so first caution here, Dakota, coming out at Atlanta at lap number 60.
Yeah,
so
who is this not working for with everybody pitting and people not pitting? Who's a lap down and who's not, and who shouldn't be a lap down?
I'm going to tell you, did Joe Beasley get that machine down pit road before the caution come out? Because he did take the lead over, if I'm not mistaken.
I would think so, because he's showing in the 5th position. He started 4th, so I mean he's right about where he was running right before he should have pitted. So I do think he actually pitted.
Wow. Now let's run through an interesting scenario with that real quick, Dakota. Joe Beasley, being shown in the 5th spot right now, just pitted, and you've got all these other guys who just pitted too, but maybe a couple of laps ago, 10 laps ago, even 20 laps ago. And if he can stretch it, he may not have to pit again, but it's going to be a long ways off, I guess. But just trying to make things interesting here with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, sponsored by Bob Earl Racing. But Landon Huffman being shown your race leader currently.
Yeah, and you got to remember, again, who's not coming down. Landon Huffman not coming down, that's for sure. But I mean, some of those guys could have come down and maybe stretched the field just a little bit further. The field was always playing a big role tonight, though.
Yeah, I see Michael Gray's on his way down pit road. Eric Arnold Josh, a host of others down pit road under yellow flag conditions.
Yeah, most of them are taking 4 tires and some fuel just to go ahead and get some stickier tires on it because you don't know when the next caution's coming out. And from here, they could be going close to all the way, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know, Josh. That's what I'm thinking. 130 laps here, everybody listening, at Atlanta Motor Speedway. 61 in the books. They're going to run at least 2 to 3 more, Dakota, under caution. And as Josh mentioned before the broadcast started in pre-race opening ceremonies, that these guys can stretch it to 57, possibly 60, depending on exactly how much they do conserve. So this is going to be fun to watch if it stays green.
The guy that would have been the lucky dog had they went green and had quick caution, Steve Gottschalk's sped going down pit road, and he's been given an EOL and been forced to go back to the rear of the field. So unfortunate for Steve in the number 91 machine, Keaton.
The 91 Steve Gottschalk there. Just being informed though, John Hanna Jr. Receiving a end of the line penalty. That's not a stop and go. That's just go to the tail longest end of the line penalty there for him. So trying to get word exactly on what John Hanna Jr. did. I believe it was for not entering the track on the back stretch, but I cannot confirm that just yet.
Actually, getting word, it is because he was the cause of the caution. They don't care if you do it accidentally. You receive an EOL if you cause the caution, and that's what happened when he turned the car around on the backstretch. He was at fault for the caution, and I mean, they're trying to limit the cautions in the series, and they've done a good job so far. As we're on 1 caution into a 62-lap race, and looking at it, John Abbott, and looking at the other driver, I believe it was Nathan Bowers, taking the wave around, so staying out in front of the leaders and just taking the wave around, so they picked up their lap back. But you gotta remember, or maybe are they on older tires now, or what's the game now?
I'll tell you what's the deal now is the lights are off on the pace car entering turn 4. Landon Huffman pacing them down at 60 miles an hour outside. Landon is at 21 machine of R.J. Williams. Those guys are teammates, and then just behind them, Chad Cole and Jay Horton. Pace car down pit road here, Dakota. Green flag at Atlanta.
Chad Cole gets a little bit easier job now that Dwayne Minson is out of the way, because Dwayne running over the wall and we're coming off the pit road as Chad Cole going underneath R.J. Williams is going to take the spot going into turn number 1.
Excuse me, the 51 machine on the 5th spot going underneath the 61 of Wyatt Wolf, the 60 of Joe Beasley now making his way underneath. 51 a little loose in 3 though.
I'm watching, there's like 2 or 3 wide back there with John Gregorio way back in the back, and looking back there, Jay Horton on the outside of John Gregorio right now. John making the pass going into turn number 1 as Joe Beasley also just snuck through that hole.
And here comes Steve Ritter in that number 16 machine, making his way around Wyatt Wolf in that 61 car. Now Steve Ritter looking at the inside of Jay Horton, turns down the deal, can't get it done just yet. Steve Ritter making his way into the top 10 here, Dakota.
Yeah, Kel Dredgeback going right around Wyatt Wolf for, I believe that might be, as we're going to watch as he crosses the line, and see 9th position, so he just worked his way into the top 10, as he was the 11th last time around before that, so I mean, he picked up 2 spots on that lap.
Pick up a spot, Steve Ritter moving into the number 7 spot, taking the move on Jay Horton, and as you mentioned, Kel Dredgeback, he's on the move, he goes underneath the 83 of Jay Horton.
Kind of wondering if he's one of those guys that came down and got 4 tires and everybody else is on older tires, because he is coming to the front, Kel Dredgeback.
Michael Gray in that pink and blue and black car making his way out of pit road there. No concern for the leaders. He's got to keep that Chevrolet down on the bottom into the backstretch. But your race leader, Landon Huffman, in 2nd, Chad Cole, R.J. Williams, 4th, Joe Beasley, Chad Schilling running 5th. Take us through the rest of 10, Dakota.
Pinning in the 6th position, we have John Gregorio sitting at 7th, Steve Ritter. 8th, we have that 35 that is flying to the field of Cale Dredgeback. In 9th, we have Jay Horton in 10th position, a guy who's actually just lost a position. He lost like 6 positions on that lap. Was Wyatt Wolf, and is now Glenn Campbell.
Looking up into the battle for 5th, Chad Schilling, John Gregorio taking that Smith Chassis Works Chevrolet into 5th spot. Now, just above him, Joe Beasley in that 64parts.com Chevrolet. He's trying to hang on to Atlanta. He's not got the car that he wants, but he's hanging on to that number 4 spot, coming in at a 2 and 1, going 203 miles an hour, Dakota.
Tell you what, the battle up front was really close. I mean, Landon Huffman was 2 thousandths slower than Chad Cole. 2 laps to go the last time by, though. Landon Huffman picked up a full 10th lap time-wise on Chad Cole. So, I mean, Landon Huffman's still driving away up front.
Now taking us back into the 10th spot, the 44 of Glenn Campbell. Also in the mix, this 84 machine of Jimmy North. Now that 88 that you see is Adam Roberts. He's a lap down, he's out of the way, he's up high. But the 84 Jimmy North, he's trying to crack that Chevrolet into the top 10.
Darcy Rigdon coming off the pit road on that apron. He's got to stay down there. But Chad Schilling just almost ran over the pack of John Gregorio. I mean, John just kind of cut down right in front of him, and that was kind of scary. I thought that guy was just going to turn him right there.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm looking back at the 7th spot. That's Steve Ritter. He's got that BuyerChevy.com on a rail as he looks for 6th over 25 machine of Chad Schilling.
I wonder if he was one of those cars that came down, got the 4 tires, while everybody else stayed out in the zone older tires. Because I mean, he's moved to the field like these guys are standing still, and I mean, tires do make all the difference here.
They really do. Atlanta's one of those tracks that you gotta have. I see some smoke coming from that 21 machine of R.J. Williams, I believe there, but nonetheless, he's got that car saved. It's fine. He's sitting in 3rd spot, but yeah, Atlanta, man, I tell you, it's one of those tracks that if you got the tires on the car and you got, you know, they're good and clean and fresh, man, you can go a long way.
Chad Cole wiggling off at turn number 2. He almost hit the wall as he is running down to the back of Landon Huffman. He is closing in pretty quickly here, Keaton.
Yep, last time that DeWalt Ford machine just a tick faster than Landon Huffman. This time by, again, Chad Cole just a little bit faster as they go in 1 for the lead.
That little bit's just enough, though. I mean, he is running them down, getting to the back bumper, and he's got that draft, so I mean, he's going to gain either way here, it seems like.
Absolutely, he's got the draft in another battle back in 10th and 11th again as a car. Glenn Campbell, the Penske Chevrolet truck rental machine in the wall here, guys. Tight race car now as Adam Roberts goes underneath. The green machine of R.C. Rigdon underneath. The 44 is going to be in bad shape here, Dakota, as he took the wall with him.
This battle for the lead is getting so tight. I mean, it was like 4 thousandths of a second last time, lap time-wise, and Chad Cole getting ever so close. Remember, these two have to win. One of them has to win, and Guy Snyder also needs to get a win. I mean, they're tied with wins right now, and so you got to remember this points lead when they get into the chase is very valuable and really will help them with like a 10-point lead per win, you know. So right now, this battle for the lead is something to focus on really big for me, as Chad Cole was right there on the bumper of Landon Huffman.
For the last 4 laps, Chad Cole just a tick faster than that number 75 machine of Landon Huffman. Those guys really working each other, a battle for first. The Chevrolet and Ford as Huffman gets a little loose off 4, and here comes Chad Cole, Dakota.
Yeah, you got to run that apron. I mean, you got to clip it almost to get the thing to turn, and Landon Huffman clipping it too much and not giving the room to Chad Cole. He's going to... I don't think Chad Cole had enough room to dive down to the bottom there without Landon Huffman running him off track or wrecking him, so... I mean, they are really fighting it out up front, if you can't tell.
As we see again, the battle out front for Landon Huffman, Chad Cole for that number 1 spot, coming to the line. 77 laps complete out of 130, just a little bit over halfway here. Again, Chad Cole, not as quick this time by, but 5 laps in a row, Chad Cole had that number 75's number.
Ronnie Potts right in the distance. I mean, they're closing on him pretty quick, so that could become a factor as to see who can work traffic the best here momentarily.
Yeah, sometimes it's all about where you catch them. Also, they're going to come up on that number 69 machine of Joseph Hayes before they get on to Ronnie. But Landon Huffman, that time by, a tick faster than Chad Cole. So Chad Cole working those tires just a little bit, probably more than he wants, but still in the draft, coming off too. Chad Cole trying to recover and gain ground.
What, Landon Huffman probably stepping up his game after running through over that apron. He's thinking, oh, I can't screw this up, so I'm going to step up my game. And I guarantee you, after almost wiping out like he did, he's probably really focused and really trying to hit his marks now.
For the fans in the chat room with us tonight, BK Kraus, I believe it is, D. Logan, Josh and Kevin Kelly also just joining us, John Hanna, Doug Roth. He was also involved with the wreck earlier on, but welcome to the chat. Any questions? Hey, just ask, and we'll try to get an answer for you. But the lead, the battle right now on the racetrack, Landon Huffman, Chad Cole, Dakota.
They were .001 between each other the last time by, and as they crossed the line there, we will get a reading and let you know. I mean, these guys are so close lap after lap, it's kind of scary. I mean, it really is. I mean, looking back here, Chad Cole ran a 5:42, and Landon Huffman ran a 5:25. These guys are, I mean, flying. They're laying down probably some of the fastest lap times on the track, and probably some of the fastest lap times they'll be running throughout the race at this point in a race or in a run.
They just got around the 69 machine of Joseph Hayes, no problem. Up next, Ronnie Potts, he's running that number 25 position. Also, 17 cars on the lead lap, the last one being none other than the number 10 machine, John Abbott. Man, I tell you, John had a top 10 car, probably a top 5. He's struggling just a little bit right now. If a caution were to come out for that machine, I'm telling you, he could get that car back up to the front. So John Abbott, last car on the lead lap, Dakota.
I'll tell you what, RJ Williams back in third, working a little bit of traffic. He's only been half a tenth slower, and you got to think if he's working traffic, he might be a little bit quicker than those guys. But Joe Beasley has pulled up to the back of RJ Williams, and we could be seeing a race here for third position just really soon. As Joe Beasley right up to the bumper of that number 21 machine.
Just to give you an idea about what separates the number 1 machine, the number 1 position car and the 2 position car, and RJ Williams. Lap time 29.680 for RJ in third. 29.5s for Landon and Chad Cole out front. So still the faster cars is out front here. Landon Huffman, Chad Cole out front, Dakota.
And I mean, they're setting so close to lap times. I mean, they cannot gain or lose anything to each other. As soon as they do, it's like Chad Cole will make up that little bit of time because he's in the draft. And I mean, they're stuck right now riding, and I wonder if Chad Cole's even giving everything he has right now. I mean, you got to think he doesn't want to let that leader get away, but I mean, he can't really be too aggressive and burn up his tires right now.
Now in the 5th spot, again, Steve Ritter. He's running 29.5s at the line. He just ran just a little bit over a 29.6, but nonetheless, he's running just a little bit faster than Joe Beasley and RJ Williams, and they're in the draft. And Steve's trying to get that little hint of it.
Steve Gottschalk, I wonder if he can come down pit road here recently, as he is in the 22nd position. I'm kind of wondering, he is a lap down, so I mean, he is in trouble because he got the bad luck, I believe, with that pit stop earlier and under the green flag conditions, going a lap down and getting that EOL, so he doesn't really put himself in a position to get the lucky dog here. But I mean, he's worked his way back up from that EOL at the in the last caution up to 22nd position. So I mean, he's kind of hanging in there as he's working through traffic pretty well in the back.
There's 7 guys, 7 race car drivers, including Eric Arnold, a winner at Michigan just 2 races ago. He's a lap down. 7 cars trapped that 1 lap down. 69 of Joseph Hayes is the first one on the bubble. If a caution were to come out, he'd get that lap back as long as he wasn't the caution, Dakota.
Dwayne Vincent, remember him running third and actually running second, running down the leader. He is
71, Dakota. Sorry to interrupt. 71 machine. Keith Brooks Jr. around and turn 1. The field's going by. So far, so good. But Keith Brooks Jr.'s around.
Dwayne Vincent, who was up front, is actually running 15th. Just an update. His car not really working for him after he did run over the wall pretty hard earlier.
Now, Keith Brooks Jr. not on the lead lap, running 25th position here tonight. As you pick it up here on the E-Wine machine, you can see that Impala right there, the black and orange, if you will, with the blue stripes on the back, getting down into the turn just a little bit too deep, comes back onto the racetrack. But Dakota, me and you both know that counter steer oversteer is so hard. It's as you see Jimmy North underneath the 84 machine, that blue low Chevrolet. 71 gets into the wall, never recovers, Dakota. Just the tires seem like they were just ate up as you see him start to lose it there. The counter steer and then the oversteer. 71 machine down low in the apron down there. And watch him come up the track here. This is what's scary. 200 miles an hour coming out of the turn here. These guys coming at him, and 71's got to be thinking, oh man, please don't hit me. They go splitting right there, splitting right there. They're all splitting, Dakota.
Well, right now it's up to the leaders on who gets off the pit road quickly, the quickest, and that's going to be where they're at, possibly for the end of the run. So who knows? Josh, we're sending it down your way.
Well, Landon Huffman came in, got 4 tires, and the leader off pit road is Landon Huffman, 4 tires and fuel, no changes.
That was a quick pit stop for Landon Huffman getting down pit road and getting into a stall, right? I do believe Chad Cole had a little bit of trouble because he was right on the bumper of Landon Huffman going all the way through pit road trying to make up as much time as he could. Possibly couldn't see his box because it was a lot further up than, or possibly a little bit sooner than Landon Huffman's because he qualified in the 6th position. He has the 6th box from the end of pit road.
Alright, and just as I mentioned, the 69 machine, Joseph Hayes, getting that Aaron's Lucky Dog award there. He's going to be able to be waved around the pace car, get that lap back, get down pit road, get him 4 tires, some gas, maybe a 10% grill tape increase here, because Dakota, we're coming down to the closing laps here as Landon Huffman, the race leader, sitting on lap 87, completing lap 88 at the line.
Well, you know what? We'll be right back for the green flag. We're going to take a real fast commercial break, and don't worry, you won't miss a thing. Welcome back live with Real Time Racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And Michael Keaton, I understand you possibly have somebody with a radio connection after they just ended their night abruptly.
Yep, that would be the 71 machine of Keith Brooks Jr. Keith, we talked about it on the replay, the counter steer, the oversteer in this car here that's so hard to save. Take us through what happened. It looked like you got on the wall a half a lap before you spun out. Did the car just become unsettled?
Yeah, it's not been that good all race. Early in the race, I hit the wall, knocked the toe out, and it's just been, I don't know, it's been a handful ever since. And it got real tight, so I decided to change 2 tires to make it a little looser, to make it a little bit too loose. So, yeah. I want to borrow somebody's horseshoe.
I've got a question here. Is Dwayne Vincent, he was running up front, and he hit the wall hard, and we haven't seen anything from him since. He's back at 15. How important is it for you to not run over the wall or anything like that tonight? How difficult is it getting off pit road on that apron?
It's tough getting on and off pit road tonight. I noticed both times I've come on pit road under the green flag, it's all you can do to get slowed up and not spin at the same time, and getting off pit road is just as tricky. But you don't want to hit the wall and knock the toe out, because if you do, you're going to have your hands full the rest of the night. At least I did. I got a couple of teammates that has little toe issues, and they're having about the same issue, just handling it a little bit better than I have. So I think I'm going to take some notes from their setup sheet, do some steering changes in my boxes, and go for next week.
Alright, well thank you Keith for stopping by and talking to us a little bit, and hopefully you'll get him next week, bud.
Oh yeah, bad luck ain't going forever.
Alright, well, back live at Green Flag Racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chad Cole going underneath Landon Huffman. Landon Huffman getting a little loose, maybe. We have a new leader for the second, I believe, maybe the second or third time tonight. Chad Cole is the new leader, taking it to turns 1 and 2. He just, stormed past Landon Huffman really quickly there and abruptly. You got wonder maybe Landon Huffman's trying to see what he can do, or maybe something went wrong with that car.
Watch the arrow push, though, with the 17 machine as the 75 Chevrolet working underneath on the front stretch. He's going to make another pass for the lead in 1.
At least Chad Cole got his bonus lap for leading the lap, but, Landon Huffman has led the most laps so far, so that'll really give him another bonus point or so. Bonus points are really playing a role into this as well.
Man, it didn't last long, did it, Dakota?
No, sir, it did not. That's not something I would like to post on the Chad Cole Fan Club for Life. Maybe we just post Chad Cole takes the lead and leave it at that.
Here's the dangerous scenario that's being played out right now between these two drivers that you see out front. Chad Cole, Landon Huffman, tied, 4 wins. In the chase, if these guys continue to share the 4-win total, they'll be tied for the points lead. But here's the fun kicker. If Chad Cole can win or if Landon Huffman can win, that person will be just ahead by, I don't know how many points it'll be ahead, but they will be ahead. I think it's like 10 points that would differentiate the two. But big battle for 5th and 9th, I'm hearing.
And by the way, Keith, I do believe it is 10 points, but if you look back right now, Landon Huffman's got a 30-point lead, or like a 33-point lead over Chad Cole. So, and then if Chad Cole could pull out that win and go into the chase like that, he would have a 10-point lead after being 33 points behind. He's really showing something there.
Looking at the number 10 car in 10th or 9th position, or 10th position, call it. Guy Snyder just went by him. That's another one. He's got 4 wins. He's sharing that win total with Huffman and Cole. So John Abbott delivering the pass, but 27 machine taking it right back for 10th.
Cal Dressback, we were talking to him a little bit earlier. He is sitting in the 6th position and he's holding tight. He was moving up earlier, and I think he's really good on the short run, and I think he stays right about where he's at throughout the rest of the run. So Cal Dressback, he's been moving through the field pretty good, and he is a rocket ship tonight.
Jimmy North in the 84 machine, currently running 7th. Had a pretty good starting grid spot tonight. He rolled off 12. He's got his adjustments done. He's good for the green.
RJ Williams sitting in the 8th position. RJ, remember, starting on the pole. He's just kind of following back. We're not sure what's happened with him. He was really fast, though. He had ran down Chad Cole right before the caution coming out and green flag stops coming through. His car was fast. I'm not really sure why he's moved back, but he is in the back.
In the 9th spot, in the lime green Chevrolet of the 19 car is R.C. Rigdon. He rode off tonight in 19th spot. Where he's currently at, he's got 10 plus to the good.
Guy Snyder, we're starting in a 13th position, finishing 10th, currently running 10th position. Remember, he has those 4 wins tied to everybody else up front, and Chad Cole and Landon Huffman, so he is there for points as well. And he's just just quite a few points back from those guys, but he is locked into 3rd position right now.
Sitting in position 11 is the car number 10 that belongs to John Abbott. Can he put together some sort of good luck here at Atlanta? The past couple of weeks, John's had bad luck. But I tell you what, trying to crack that car into a 10th spot tonight here, he could swing that luck around.
Wayne Vincent running over the wall coming off pit road. I believe he might got a little bit of damage on that thing fixed because he's up 3 spots from where we saw him last time. He's sitting 12th, but barely hanging in.
The 51 machine currently running 13th, just passing 69 of Joseph Hayes. That Smitten Chassis Works Chevrolet of John Gregorio. He's trying to crack his way into the top 10, and he's trying to make that red car look shiny tonight at Atlanta.
69 of Joseph Hayes sitting in the 14th position, not very happy with the car. We saw him a lap down earlier, just kind of riding as he's about to lose another spot. He is very unhappy with that car right now.
Running 15th, passing Joseph Hayes right now on the bottom out of 4. Can't quite put the move on him just yet, but Jay Horton running the Huffman Racing teammate colors of the blue and orange reminds me of the Auburn Tigers who fell to defeat to the Clemson Tigers this week on NCAA football.
And then we have Adam Roberts sitting 16th in the 88, quite a few spots away through all the lap traffic.
John Gregorio hard into the inside wall on down the backstretch, Dakota.
Oh, I saw that. He hit the wall hard. No caution so far. I believe he's just going to pull that thing behind the wall. Not really sure. He's kind of sitting on the track, so you got to kind of wonder if he's trying to get the thing turned around. He is below the apron, so no caution will fly, but he will lose all those spots and have a really damaged car.
Adam Roberts in the 88 machine got off to a little bit of a rough start. He fell all the way back to 33rd. Dakota has worked that machine back up towards the front, running 15th right now, running 29.7s. That 88 machine trying to get into the top 15 to stay there.
51 of John Gregorio, dog tracking down pit road. Joshua, what do you got for us, bud?
Well, you got loose coming out of the turn, and yeah, he's off track. And he's going to see if they can get any repairs on it or not. We'll see what they can come up with.
John Gregorio, Dakota, running in the 14th spot in points. And, man, I tell you, just talking about him makes me feel bad because it feels like we got the ETV jinx on him.
Tell you what, the battle for, yeah, the jinx is really famous. I mean, we really got to quit doing that. That's really killing everybody. But looking up for the battle for 6th position, RJ Williams getting closed on by Cale Dredgeback. Remember, Cale really fast. We've been talking about it, but I believe RJ might have just stolen the spot from him. So, I mean, these two are racing really hard so far as Cale not leaving his bumper.
Want to take you to the 06 machine of Bruce Perry. Doghouse System Chevrolet black and red machine into the 16th spot, trying to make the move on the Adam Roberts machine in 15th. But I tell you, Bruce Perry, Dakota, that's a guy who's been in this league a long time. He's been racing with them, and week in, week out, he's really consistent.
Yeah, he's very consistent, but consistency only gets you so far, unless you're Dale Jr., then it gets you pretty far, apparently. But consistency can only get you so far unless you can run top 10 week in and week out. And, I mean, that's something he's got to work on. But being able to finish top 20 is week in and week is going to be something that it's a start, definitely for sure.
And just shy out of the top 15, we got to take you to the number 17th spot. That's Eric Arnold, known as the Navy Nuke. He's driving that machine around at 17th spot. Now, Eric's sitting in a real interesting spot in the points. He's 10th, Dakota. He's just 1 point ahead of Jay Horton.
Yeah, the points battle is really intense. I mean, if you look back at where they're at in the track, that's going to be how many points that they're holding that position to each other. And I mean, depending on how many wins they have, that's going to be where they start the chase in that position. So I mean, every point counts right now. Trying to get into the chase where they want to be, or as close to the front as they can be, so they're closer to the leaders before they just completely pull away.
And John Gregorio has pulled that plug on that machine of the 51 Smith Chassis Works car. Back out front, though, Dakota, things shaping back up for Chad Cole. He just ran a little quicker lap time than Landon Huffman did, and this time by, it appears to be the exact same way.
I'm telling you, I've been watching here recently. Joe Beasley also sneaking into that picture, but Chad Cole ended up running kind of different lines, and Chad Cole's been making up quite a bit of time. But I mean, as soon as Chad gets there, he's just about even with Landon Huffman, even though they're running different lines.
Just about half a lap ago, we seen the number 16 car running 4th spot, Steve Ritter, make the move on Chad Schilling, call it in the books. He's cracked the top 5. Steve Ritter has got that machine hooked up at Atlanta. If a caution were to come out, interestingly so, with 19:20 to go, Steve Ritter could be looking for a win here, but he's about a second away from that race leader, Landon Huffman, Chad Cole, and now Joe Beasley, like you said, bringing that 60 machine into the, the magic word, caution, Dakota.
Yeah, we gotta look and see if we can't find it on the track. I'm seeing cars sideways and everything. A lot of smoke, but the 85 I'm hearing of, who was the 85?
Nope. Actually, Dakota, it was Eric Arnold and the number 33 machine of David Lanza. The 85 was just getting woed up for that wreck. That's Nathan Bowers. He avoided the wreck, but David Lanza, heavy damage.
It's like Joseph Hayes, or not Joseph Hayes, who's that 47 of Eric Arnold, clipping the apron, coming up and tagging David Lanza. Ooh.
Going to try to get it brought up on the E-wind here. But we just mentioned Eric Arnold and Dakota. That could be devastating for this points run that he's in. He's 11th spot in points. I'm not entirely sure if he's secured or not, but it's up on the E-wind. As you can see, the Navy Nuke machine there, 47, getting on the apron, coming up just a little bit, but a little bit is too much as he tags the left rear of that 33 of David Lanza, and that National Guard car is spinning towards the wall. No damage for Eric, so he should be safe. But man, bad tough break for David Lanza. He's into the outside wall at Atlanta in turn 2.
The thing you got to worry about with Eric and his points night is he's really trying to be as high as finishing as he can. He cannot lose a spot in the points, or he will fall out of the wild card spot. Or if somebody else wins, or 2 other people win races, and he gets knocked out.
I just seen.
They're going off pit road once again. Landon Huffman won the race off pit road. 4 tires and fuel. 17's right behind him. 4 tires and fuel. No changes for either car.
Yeah, kind of exactly what's expected here. No changes. I'm the same way. Hey, the car's running good. I'm in first. I wouldn't want to make a change because Dakota, you know just as much as I do that one wrong change on these cars can change drastically what the cars will do on the track.
Yeah, I mean, and they're really sensitive. The changes seem to be more sensitive than what they used to be. And I mean, sometimes you can go decently far on a change and it won't hurt it. But I mean, now, really, if your car's pretty dialed in, like where theirs is, you can't make much of a change. If you do, it's really going to throw off the handling.
Hey, from the words of Kevin Kelly, who will use that bumper? Man, it's going to be a fun restart, Dakota. Landon Huffman, Chad Cole. Is Chad Cole going to use that front forward bumper, or Landon Huffman make the block of Tony Stewart a couple of years ago, where Tony Stewart, and I believe it was Matt Kenseth running that DeWalt forward back in the day, put the famous block on him. And but I think Chad Cole knows how to use that DeWalt forward.
Yeah, you got to think the last time he was on the outside, though, he got hung out on the outside, and he was able to pull away, pull around the 25, I believe it was, on that restart. But I mean, the outside lane is not the place you want to be unless you can clear the guy on the inside before you get into the corner. I mean, Landon Huffman's gone without a doubt, but I mean, Chad Cole's got to be on it on this restart and make sure he can get closed up on Landon Huffman before the tires fall off too bad.
What's setting up to be a fun restart and a last couple of 15 laps here at Atlanta. Everybody's going to have fresh tires. Everybody's going to have the same type speed, Dakota, and it's going to be fun to see who brought what.
Well, I'll tell you what, Keaton, we actually have a guest on the radio of R.C. Rigdon. I told you we might hear from him later in the race. He's a guy that I've been kind of watching. We weren't sure he was very happy with the car. He started way in the back. In 19th position, his car was a little off. I mean, he was a lot down, hanging in the back, about 25th position. But he's currently sitting 7th. R.C., how you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good. Just hoping we go green here towards the end. We actually have a pretty decent car underneath us. May not win tonight, but definitely a top 5 car.
10-4. How did you manage to turn your race around?
We actually didn't have all that good of a qualifying lap. It wasn't the greatest, and the qualifying doesn't show our running capability. And we're actually pretty good on the long run. Of the minor adjustments that we can make on this fixed setup, I set myself up for the long run as opposed to the short run.
Alright, RC, well, thanks for stopping by, or thanks for talking to us under caution here. We're going to let you go and get back racing. Go get him, bud.
Hey, keep that lime green Chevrolet in good condition, RC.
I'm trying.
Alright, Dakota, R.C. Rigdon sitting in a solid 7th spot. That's top 10 material there. But I tell you, what I mentioned earlier, I'm looking at that number 16 who's sitting 4th. Steve Ritter. He's got a machine. He's got a rocket. But it's going to be real tight here, Dakota.
Yeah, and this is the closest he's been to the leaders all night, and we're going to get to see now if he can do anything with them. What about Chad Chillen? We haven't said a whole lot about him, but he's been riding third for quite a while now, or third or fourth, and he's had a car that's been really quick. He's been decent on the pit stops, making up time. Landon Huffman taking off, and Chad Cole not going at all. Chad Chillen getting right around Chad Cole right there, so mark Chad Cole down the spot, and R.J. Williams also going around 16, so really his restarts are killing him, like I said.
Yeah, and that puts Steve Ritter back into the 5th spot. But Chad Cole working the back door of the 25 as he goes down low on the backstretch. Now he's going to swing the momentum to the lead to where Landon Huffman is in 3.
Well, I saw there was Chad Cole wiggled quite a bit, but so did Landon Huffman. I mean, those cars are really loose, it seems to be, and loose is fast.
Loose is fast indeed as they come to complete lap 116. Just 15 to go here in Dakota. Green flag condition. Chad Cole loose in 1. Goes on the back or goes down on the what is that? The apron.
The apron. Ooh, it's Guy Snyder. Ooh, Guy Snyder getting turned around in front of the 60 of Joe Beasley.
Oh, the 27 car.
That was in 4th place in points, I believe. No, 3rd place in points.
Guy Snyder, heavily damaged race car on the track.
Looking back to see if I can't figure out exactly what happened there, but I mean, look at him coming through turn number 3. He's on the bottom. He moves up to miss Chad Cole and runs over the 60 of Joe Beasley and just keeps hitting him, has nowhere to go. Goes through a flip. I mean, he really just had nowhere to go, Joe Beasley. And, I mean, with all the speed that they were up, the car is just really getting destroyed there. As Joe Beasley actually got stuck in the wall after as hard a hit as he took.
There we see the 17 of Chad Cole on the apron. I thought that he was going to save it, but that wasn't the problem. 27 was the problem. And trying to see if we can bring it up on the E-Wine machine here. You see Chad Cole right there in front of your screen, but the problem was with the 27 of Guy Snyder. Yeah, Guy Snyder and was it Joe Beasley also involved with that wreck, Dakota?
Yes, sir. The 68 Joe Beasley just had nowhere to go, and Guy Snyder just running right up into him.
Yeah, we've got to get. We're going to get this back up for you race fans out there who love seeing these cars crash. As you see, the National Guard car here, that's Lanza, hit the wall right there, almost at the pace car. But here we go. 27 working that bottom lane there. You see Chad Cole go down below the apron. 27 car, Joe Beasley get into each other a little bit. And the rest is history. Watch that 27 machine go up, over, and down. Man, what a lick for that 27 of Guy Snyder, Dakota.
Oh, and the guy who had turned a 20th place car into a top 10 run, R.C. Rigdon, had nowhere to go, and I just kind of heard a glimpse of his radio, and that ETV curse, he says.
We'll give you another angle here. What I mean is we'll give you another angle as to who's going to win this thing. 25 machine sitting beside the 75 on the front row. Here's a view. Here's
nowhere to go.
Yeah, Dakota, look at this view of R.C. Rigdon right here. Joe Beasley right in front of him. Watch the 27 machine up. See all what's underneath that race car right there. Underneath. Wow. R.C. Rigdon, he might need to take a pit stop just to change his pants.
Yeah, that big possibility. He might have to change more than that.
And you know what, Dakota? We were just on the radio with him and talk about Jinx number 2.
Yeah, and that's what he said on the radio too. It was really funny. He come right across and said that ETV curse.
Man, I tell you, Dakota, tough break for R.C. Rigdon. That lime green Chevrolet, nonetheless, damaged from the wreck with Guy Snyder, Joe Beasley, and but the root of that incident coming from Chad Cole. Not really Chad Cole's fault. He was down below under the apron, but everybody kind of gets a little nervous and squiggly as they try to avoid accidents.
You're going to wonder now, how is Chad Cole going to come back through and prevent Landon Huffman from winning this race? A good guess would be he's not, but anything can happen here at Atlanta. Landon Huffman could actually get loose and do the same thing Chad did. So who knows what's going to happen. It's really exciting here with Real Sim Racing. As I said before the start of the race, anything can happen.
Pace lights off. The pace car. Josh? Sorry. You enjoying the race so far with us tonight?
I am.
I tell you what, you got a favorite here that you're looking at winning? Is there a sleeper in the mix, if you will, of Steve Ritter, Cale Drosbach, anybody you got in mind?
Well, I was actually rooting for Chad Cole, but Chad Schilling's looking pretty good too. I'm gonna be rooting for him.
I tell you what, if he can have just a little bit better restart this time, he may have that 75's number.
Yeah, if he can just get a little peek of that draft and pull up on him, getting down to the end here, so he might be able to just slingshot around him just enough to get it.
So I got two against me, Dakota. You guys both pulling for Chad Cole. Josh, though, pulling for Chad Schilling just a little bit there. But I'm still rooting for that 16 machine of Steve Ritter. He's on the outside. Pace car, lights off. He's going to be making that famous left-handed turn here, Dakota, in Atlanta. 10 to go at the line.
Actually, Michael, I got to go with the ETV curse, so I'm pulling for RJ Williams.
Well, if R.J. Williams is going to do this thing, he's going to have to do it from third spot. 16, Steve Ritter giving 25, Chad Schilling a little nudge going into one here.
Well, as Kevin Kelly said, he just read that in the chat. Pull those belts tight one more time, boys, and this is going to be interesting, and that's for sure.
When Landon Huffman crosses the Atlanta start-finish line this time by, there'll be 9 to go. 17 of Chad Cole trying to hang on. That's 21 in the second spot. Down low, 25, Chad Schilling up high. Coming out of the line, 9 to go, Dakota.
And watching, trying to look back here for Chad Cole. Where is it? What's he doing? Is he trying to come back up to the front? Is he underneath Chad Schilling in the 25? He is moving towards the front. He's up to 4th position, looking for, I believe, 3rd position or 2nd position up here.
He's got Chad Schilling above him and R.J. Williams ahead of him, running that Huffman Racing Chevrolet there.
Chad Cole is fast, but I don't think he has enough laps to actually make it up to the front now. I mean, in the closing laps, we have 8 laps to go, and he's still got to work through a whole 2 cars. I mean, he cannot get around Chad Schilling yet. We just see him almost making the pass, but not quite there off of turn number 2. Just the laps maybe winding down here.
And going into 3 in 5th position, Steve Ritter in that 16 car. He has his hands full of the sleeper, Cale Drosbach in the 35. He moves into the number 5 position behind the 25 of Chad Schilling and Chad Cole, who's running 3rd.
Dwayne Vincent, remember us talking about him running over the wall, having a little bit of trouble, being showed 7th position last time he crossed the line, so Dwayne Vincent moving up through the field.
And he puts that raceskins.com Chevrolet up high, then brings it back down low behind Steve Ritter. Steve Ritter trying to put the move back on the 35. Meanwhile, Chad Schilling still stuck on the high side as the 1, 2, and 3 wide into 1 here. Steve Ritter underneath the 35 touches him, and he's around. Ooh, huge wreck. Oh, man.
That looked painful.
And I just heard Dakota say that looked painful. Man, I tell you, the 35 took a shot.
I've been talking about him all night too, moving to the field. Just broke the top 5, and he was really rolling towards the front, but unfortunate luck for the 35 to get turned right there.
Man, it's going to be interesting to see if there's any kind of penalty handed out here. These guys 3 wide, going for it all here. 3 wide was in turn number 1, and that was between Steve Ritter down low in the middle, like that vanilla and an Oreo. 35 of Cale Drosbach and the 25 of Chad Schilling way up high almost near the wall.
Well, Michael Keaton, I have some bad news for you, my friend. I believe you picked Steve Ritter, is that right?
Yes.
Well, Steve Ritter has came over the radio and claimed the caution, and that's the rule here. If you claim the caution, you'll receive an EOL, I do believe. And so he will receive an EOL for causing the caution there, and he will not finish in Victory Lane. I do not believe he'll finish in the top 5. He'll be back located around in about 18th position, between 18th and 15th, really.
Yep, if he gets the penalty, which NASCAR iRacing officials have just given the word, Steve Ritter was given an EOL penalty in the words of Patrick Haughey.
And look who's going to be taking over the 4th position here, who was, you remember, 15th and damaged in the back?
I'm telling you, Dwayne Vincent, Josh and Dakota got that. Raceskins.com, Chevrolet, I believe that is, down the pit road there under the caution ceremonies, and was able to get that car beat out of damage, and he's got a pretty quick car. I've raced with Dwayne Vincent. He's got a hot rod. Don't let that 13 throw you.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, we are under caution, and there won't be many laps left, if any at all, so whether we go back green or not here is going to be kind of questionable.
There's no word yet from iRacing officials if this one will go back green, just as you mentioned. As I see R.J. Williams running in the number 2 spot, Landon Huffman in that all but secluded number 1 position. He's led almost nearly virtually every lap here tonight. Let's see, pace car going down the front stretch, 75. Landon Huffman warming those tires up just in case. Lights still on, Dakota.
And I'll tell you what, we do have a Chad Cole fan, I believe, in the chat room, because he just said Chad Cole has a better chance now starting in the 3rd position. You gotta remember, he did slide those tires a little bit earlier, but we had enough pace laps, I think he might have cooled them down, or maybe got a little bit of grip back in those things. But if you're a Chad Cole fan, don't forget to like the Chad Cole fan club for life there. A little something I like to do.
How long have you been watching this?
Chad Cole in the booth with us right now. Chad Cole sitting in a real comfortable spot. Chad, 3rd position, starting behind your race leader Landon Huffman. This is Mike up in the booth with ETV. Is those pace lights going off?
Oh yeah, we're going back. We're gonna get the one to go this time by. So fireworks. Stay tuned.
Chad, we've been watching that DeWalt Ford all night long, battling. You think you got anything for him?
I don't know. You see me struggle in those last 2 restarts. Just way loose on the cold tires, and kind of feel bad for. Feel kind of bad. Feel like I messed my teammate up there, Guy Snyder, getting involved in the wreck there after I got back up on the track after getting loose. But it's been a great race so far. I've seen a lot of green flag runs. Got a couple pit stops there too. Hopefully, got something for Landon here.
And Chad, you're basically whoever wins here. If Landon Huffman wins tonight, you have to go out and win at Richmond just so you can even out the points for the chase when they start. So are you going to use those fenders to move Landon Huffman out of the way and be able to post something on the Chad Cole Fan Club for Life about a win?
As much as I want to win, I won't be moving anyone out of the way to do it. Too much respect for these guys, and got too much racing left in the season too to be doing that type of stuff. But yeah, please don't remind me about losing points to him if once the points reset if he gets a win here.
All right, Chad. Well, thanks for talking to us on the radio. Good luck, bud. Go get him.
Yeah, enjoy the finish, guys.
There you have it. Chad Cole on the radio with us tonight. He thinks he's got that Ford DeWalt where he wants it, but he's just got to get the restart, Dakota.
Yeah, and that's one of the trickiest parts, because Landon Huffman has changed his line and mark every time he wins several times, and he's got that restart down where nobody can touch him.
Good news, Kevin Kelly. This thing's going back green. It's going to be a green-white checker, Dakota. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, that's for sure. And what I've noticed so far is the guy that's in the worst position possible right now, R.J. Williams. And now, as I say that, it's probably going to work out for him, but I've known the outside lane not to work as the green flag is out and Landon Huffman is rolling. And RJ Williams making that outside lane work because he gets to the bottom is going to be able to race, possibly race Lane Huffman going in turn 1.
Dakota, that was it. The green and the white flag at the same time. This is it. This is the final lap coming out of 2. Chad Cole all over the back door of the 21 of RJ Williams. Lennon Huffman may have it in the books as they go down 3.
Well, I even tried to jinx RJ Williams, if that sounds bad, and he's still going to be able to bring it home 3rd in front of Chad Cole, or 2nd.
Landon Huffman, race winner here tonight. He picks up number 5 at Atlanta. Hot Atlanta Motor Speedway. Landon Huffman deserved it.
You remember how those points are going to be affected now unless Chad Cole wins next week at Richmond. So the points battle really close right now, and Chad Cole bringing home 3rd place, and don't forget also RJ Williams bringing home 2nd. And he is in, and he will be, I believe, starting, or he'll be 4th in points when the chase starts. So I mean, finishes like this really are going to help him.
And how about luck paying off for the number 10 crew? John Abbott finishing 4th spot tonight. Man, I tell you, finally got the break that John deserved. Good finish for him tonight, finishing top 5. Dwayne Vincent, also top 5 finish for him in the 13 car. He's come back from a big-time wreck earlier. He got a lot of damage, got it fixed. Shows that the crew was out to work and getting towards victory lane tonight, and top 5 is really close.
Yeah, I don't think Dwayne Vincent can be upset with it. I mean, he might be upset that he finished top 5, but I wouldn't be upset. I mean, just as well as he came through that. That's kind of amazing to destroy your car, be back in 15th off the pace, and come back and finish 5th. I mean, that's something.
19 out of the 35 drivers here tonight finishing on the lead lap. Just to take you through 6 through 10 here, Jimmy North finishing 6th, Ronnie Potts coming in 7th spot, Adam Roberts. Man, I tell you, all the way from 33rd, 1 lap down at 1 point, Dakota, finishing 8th, and the Navy Nuke, Eric Arnold. Man, how about that? Getting 9th spot. Good finish for him. Glenn Campbell finishing 10th. Dakota, I tell you, Atlanta.
Yeah, remember Eric had a little bit of damage, and look who finished, let's look here, about 18th position. Who picked the number 16 to finish, I believe, in victory lane?
Well, I tell you what, iRacing come down and hammered old Ritter, and but he caught it. 3 wide incident there into 2. Didn't quite work. Steve couldn't get on the brakes just in time, and got into Kyle Drive's back, and I think Schilling was way up high, but nonetheless, Steve Ritter, 18th spot.
Yeah, an interesting race all around, but Landon Huffman getting away with the victory tonight. But we're going to step away to commercial. We'll be right back with our victors from tonight.
we're back, race fans, and trying to get the top 4 here in the booth with us tonight. 4th spot belonging to John Abbott, as we mentioned. And tell you what, John Abbott, wow, finally got some luck here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. What better track, John, to do it here than the mile and a halfer?
Yeah, hear me, Batman?
Yeah, we got you now, John.
Yeah, where did I finish? I was so caught up in that the race tonight, I wasn't even sure.
I was saying that, man, I tell you, luck finally paying off here for you at Atlanta Motor Speedway, finishing 4th, top 5. Nice job getting that number 10 car in a semi-podium fashion, 4th spot.
Yeah, I know. It's been a tough go of it here lately. It seems like I think I've had 3. Let's see, my internet crashed at Watkins Glen, and I was P4. Thought I was going to have a good finish, and then had some bad luck here. I think I've been in the top 3 a few times. I had some bad luck at the end, and I was telling Jimmy North I just wanted to finish the race tonight. It's been a while since I've finished one here lately.
Yeah, and talking about finishing a race, 4th isn't quite a win that you are so looking forward to get this season. Winless so far, but I tell you, John, I think it's right around the corner for you, bud. Sitting 4th in points, you can't complain about that.
Yeah, I'm really been wanting to get a win this year, and I'm very disappointed. It's a tough. Says a lot about who's racing in this series. It's a tough series, and if you win one, you've really done something. So been fighting hard for a win. Going to try to get one. That's my goal. Get a win and try to get some momentum in the chase.
Next week we go to Richmond under the lights. Any kind of 160 laps under the lights at Richmond next week. Race 26, edging closer and closer to that chase, John. You got any kind of gut feeling about how that number 10 car going to run at Richmond?
Yeah, I like Richmond. You really gotta watch over driving. The corners, especially in 4, and if you can. Of course, the key is, staying out of trouble. But you can have some long green flag runs there, kind of like we had tonight. So feel pretty good about it going in there. I like Richmond.
John, you got anybody you'd like to thank for the season so far, and for getting you to the track? And I know you probably need to thank your wife.
yeah, she's telling me to be quiet right now. My little man's trying to go to sleep, but no, I want to thank you guys at ETV for the job you do. Y'all do a fantastic job. Sorry about that. I got interrupted by race control, but I want to thank Bob Earl Chassis for the season prize for the champion. I want to thank Race Department. We're a supported league of Race Department, the first iRacing supported league of Race Department. Got them on the car, and want to thank the other admins at RSR for all the work they do.
All right, folks, there you have it. John Abbott coming in home in 4th spot tonight, sitting 4th in points. Not sure where he'll end up after tonight's race, but looking for that first win of the season. John Abbott heads into Richmond with high hopes, getting into that top 3 position in points. Dakota, you're standing by with Chad Cole.
Yes, I was. I was just updating the Chad Cole fan club for life, and he's sitting here helping me decide what to say on there. But Chad, man, you brought it home 3rd. You started 6th. You were up there racing with Landon Huffman. I mean, you had a really fast car. You were just a few thousands faster to hundreds faster for the longest time, just riding behind Landon Huffman. What was going through your mind, man?
Thinking I need to pick up more than several hundredths there. He's a tough kid to beat, and is a always a pleasure racing with him. And glad I was able to sneak out a lap there on him after he got bad loose in 4. And but that didn't matter much. He pretty much dominated the entire race. And that first run, I thought I had it figured out. Then crew chief tells me that pretty much destroyed the right front tire. So I had to adjust a little bit, back it down, and that's when I started picking up just a little bit on Landon RJ there. And I'm gonna just need to keep practicing, getting better, because right now those are the guys to beat right now.
Now, we heard the car was tight all night long, but what happened to you just coming off of turn number 2 when you lost it?
Yeah, there's a mess there on cold tires on that restart. Just so much power these cars have, and Chad Schilling's right behind me too. That doesn't help a whole lot when it gets the air off spoiler. But he gave me room. Him and RJ gave me room to save it, bring it back up on the track. And unfortunately, like mentioned earlier, got my teammate involved in something there after the kind of bottleneck behind me.
When we talked to you in the car, you said not to remind you about the points. Well, we gotta remind you about the points because it's the big topic. Landon Huffman right now has about a 10-point lead, I believe, if that's correct, going into the chase every year right now.
I think it's 3. I think we all had 4 wins going into tonight. So I don't know, unless they have a little bit different point system than NASCAR has. I hope they don't, though. I don't want to make up more points than I need to. And yeah, Richmond, going into Richmond too, he dominated again last when we were there earlier. Got into some trouble, and I was able to sneak the win in there. But he's going to be there every week.
Well, Chad, who makes it happen for you, bud?
Gotta thank Greg and Pat up in the race control room for having to put up with us clowns, and the rest of the admins at RSR, ETV for doing an awesome job, just awesome job on the broadcasts, and Bob Earl Race Chassis too for the season-long prize.
All right, well, there you have it from your third-place finisher. We're going to toss it on down pit road to Michael Keaton, who's standing by with R.J. Williams.
That's right, R.J. Williams. I tell you, hunting for that 4th win of the season. Couldn't quite find it here tonight at Atlanta, but tell us about how close the competition was in tonight's race.
Well, it was a good race. Best race I think I've been a part of in this league so far. A lot of green flag. Enjoyed the pit stops there. That first run, I was catching Landon, had some connection issues. I think somebody was watching some Netflix over there, and so it kind of had me going all over the place. But I was eating them up, and then it seemed like they figured a little something out that I wasn't able to get a hold of. And I just rode around back there 5th to 8th for a little bit, and then the cautions really helped me out there at the end to get me up to where I was. And that last restart, I just wanted to keep Cole behind me. I need as many points as possible, so it was a good restart, that last one, and just brought it home in 2nd.
And I tell you, with the chase coming close to an end here, RJ, you got to be happy about where you're sitting at in points. 9th position. It's kind of, I think, pretty much locked in, if you will, for the chase. But still, there's still those doubts of coming into each race with getting involved with an early wreck. We've seen some of that in races past. So, any kind of word or any kind of idea about what kind of race car you got set up for Richmond next week under the lights?
Well, I'm going to try the best I can at Richmond. It's not one of my best tracks, but last race there I was doing pretty good, just working my way up through there. I think I'll be all right. I'm going to hope for a top 5 just to secure myself a little bit more into the chase there. I need a little bit more padding on those guys behind me. I think this race kind of lets me catch up with those in front of me a little bit more, so hopefully I move up a couple of positions. I'd like to get one more win. Just so I can, at least seat with the other 4 guys up there, Guy, Chad, and Landon. Landon's going to be leading with this 5th win. All in all, it's been a good season so far. Can't wait for the chase. If anybody, I am looking for a sponsor for the chase, so if anybody wants to throw some money my way, put their name on my car, I'd be more than happy to do so.
And RJ, that number 21 machine sure did look good tonight. Who makes it happen for you under that hood?
All the Huffman Racing guys. As always, great group to hang out with, run with. It's a blast. Hope for a little bit more there at the end, but got the best I can get. Second place, couldn't ask for better, especially with how I'm racing here at my new place of residence. So I'm pretty happy with that outcome.
There you have it, folks. I'll take what I can get. Second place for R.J. Williams. Now standing by with the race winner. Put 5 on the board. Landon Huffman, Dakota.
I don't know, but I was just talking to Landon Huffman, sharing a few jokes with him, and I heard RJ say something about that name on the car thing. I was wondering maybe he'd do that for me. I'll offer a few plugs in the show, you know. But Landon, you pretty much dominated tonight. How'd you do it, bud?
The car was great. Typically RJ is pretty good at these 1.5-mile tracks, and going into it, he got a little bit more practice than me, and I had that in the back of my mind that RJ was going to be pretty good. Ended up beating me out in qualifying, so I was kind of second guessing it a little bit, and I told him before the race started, I said, RJ, I'm going to give you 1 lap to lead, and then after that you're done. Just kind of joking, but I ended up passing him on lap 2, so I told him he ought to be thankful I let him lead 2 of them. So, all in all, it was a good race. Happy to see that there was a lot of green flag laps. It really makes the races a lot more fun, and I know they're a lot better to watch when there's not as many cautions. But from a driver's standpoint, it's definitely better that way, and I'm really happy that Huffman Racing was able to be 1-2 at the end of this one. Unfortunately, Chad Schilling was in position there to have a 1-2-3 finish, and he had some problems there at the end, but it's unfortunate for him. He had a good race going. But all in all, I thank Sim Seats for helping me out, Huffman Racing, all the guys. It's fun to run with them every week, and they're a fun group of guys to hang out with. And gotta thank Bob Earl for sponsoring the series.
Landon, man, going into this chase, you pretty much have the lead now. You have a 33-point lead before the chase. Do you think you'll be able to regain that lead, or will Chad Cole be a little bit closer to you, and does that kind of scare you?
Well, Cole missed a race earlier in the year, and I think that's what's given me this point lead, as far as not necessarily my wins, but just the point lead in the standings. But having that 1 win up on him is definitely a bonus, and I think it's going to help me. I think I'll be good at Richmond next week. That's a track that fits my driving style more so. So hopefully I can get a win there and go into it with 2 wins up on Chad and the guys. If I can do that, I think it'll be a little bit more difficult for him to catch me, but Chad's a great driver, and I definitely think he's capable of doing it.
All right, well, thank you, Landon, and we'll see you next week at Richmond. But we're going to throw it up to the booth with Michael Keaton. Michael, take it away, bud.
Yep, Landon Huffman coming into tonight's race 33 points above Chad Cole. He'll leave Atlanta happy tonight. He's 39 above Chad Cole, 6 points up on the 17 crew. Guy Snyder, John Abbott, Chad Schilling, Doug Roth, Joseph Hayes, Adam Roberts. R.J. Williams, we mentioned tonight, finishing 3rd. Eric Arnold getting it done, 10th spot in the points. Jay Horton, 11th. David Lanza, 12th. And on that bubble, if you want to call it that, John Gregorio, who took a hard lick, guys, I'm telling you. John Gregorio took a hard lick with that Smith chassis work Chevrolet red, bright red machine on the wall, man. I tell you, he's, whew. Anyway, Atlanta, happy to be here. We'll see you next week. Richmond Motor Speedway. Can't wait to get there under the lights. It's going to be fun to watch this Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series get it done for the chase coming up. We'll see you next time.